Hello, my name is Lisa, and today I will be discussing how AI, specifically an AI platform called ClickUp, can be used to automate and improve the risk management process for project managers. This risk management process is a very tedious and time-consuming process, and so AI can be used to help automate this process, make it less manual and less time-consuming for the project managers. Before we can get into how ClickUp can augment and help risk management, we first need to understand what it is. And starting with that, we need to know what a risk is. A risk is defined as an uncertain event or condition that if it occurs, it has either a positive or negative effect on the project objectives. With this understanding, risk management is trying to control these risks. It's attempting to recognize and manage these potential and unforeseen trouble spots that may occur as a project develops and is implemented throughout all of its stages. And there are four main processes which a project manager will go through. They'll first look through documentation and files to identify the risk, see what can actually go wrong. Then they analyze these risks and try to understand what it would cause these risks to happen during the implementation process. Then they move on to anticipating and mitigating the risks. Anticipating would be working to prevent the risks from actually occurring in the development process, and mitigating the risks works to control and minimize the negative impact these risks have if they are currently occurring or have occurred. And lastly, monitoring the risk, which is determining how effective and efficient the risk control measures taken were in controlling or preventing the risk from happening currently, in the short term, and in the long term. With this understanding, risk management is an extremely time-consuming process for the project managers. Not only do they have to look through all this documentation, they have to do it on almost a weekly basis if they really want to stay on top of it and continuously update these risks so that as the project develops, they are controlled and they are known as the project progresses. So with this, it takes a lot of time for project managers to go through this process each time, and therefore AI, such as ClickUp, can be used to assist and automate this process. That brings us to ClickUp AI. So, how ClickUp works, there's a short video.
Welcome to ClickUp, your new AI workspace. You can use ClickUp for so many things. But let's start with a simple task. Tasks are the fundamental building blocks for how work gets done in ClickUp. Click here to create your first task. Give it a name, assign it, and set a due date. Tasks can be projects, leads, bugs, milestones, or whatever you need them to be. As you work on your tasks and track their progress, you can collaborate with your teammates too. And AI is ready to help at any time. Just look for the ClickUp Brain icon. ClickUp lets you view your tasks your way. You might prefer a list, your boss might like a Kanban board, and your team might want a Gantt chart. And that's how tasks and views work. Next, I'll show you around the rest of your workspace.
So that was an introductory video of how ClickUp works. And as you can see, it has a lot of different features, which can be used for a lot of different aspects of project management processes. However, focusing on risk management and mitigation, it shows how it has a bunch of individual and team organized files that allow you to track and collaborate on tasks and projects. And you can use a lot of the features, such as a built-in AI assist, to ask questions and get feedback, whether it's saying, hey, can you summarize this document? It'll provide that for you. It provides a bunch of different project views as described. It can generate reports such as risk management plans, risk registers, and mitigation strategies. And if you use it properly, you can even automate summaries and have alerts for when there are updates in the risk process. So going more into this and how ClickUp can be used in the specific risk management process of project management. First, it can identify the risks uploaded from documentation and files. If you put in all the project documentations into ClickUp, you can use the AI and other features to go through and identify the risks from the documentation. This saves a lot of time for the project managers as it goes through in detail and will find every risk it can detect. Next, it will analyze, it will predict the impact and probability of these risks. So not only is it identifying them, but it's analyzing the impact they will have, the likelihood they'll occur. And so that is good information to help root cause these risks and really understand how we can next move to anticipate and mitigate them through preventative actions and contingency plans, which ClickUp can write out for you. It can produce these reports. And lastly, monitor. If you continuously update the paperwork and files put into ClickUp, it can summarize future risks and give you continuous feedback, guidance, and reports to show how effective your risk management and mitigation strategies are. So for an example, if we run through a project and kind of the workflow of it, you would upload your files, and this would be in a new list or workspace in ClickUp. And files you can include are timelines, resource allocations, requirements, dependencies, specific like FMEAs and how work instructions, stuff like that. Once you upload all those files, you can create a document within the list or workspace that you're in, and we'll call that risk management plan. And this will store all the results, reports, files, images that ClickUp generates. Next, you can use the AI feature as shown in the video to generate desired risk management documentation and outputs by specifically requesting the documents you want in the format you want it in. Next, you can convert and export these documents that the AI and the platform has created into tables, charts, full formal documentation reports, whatever format you would like it in. And then lastly, you can enable AI workload summaries and task dependencies, which are two features on ClickUp, to continuously and automatically monitor, flag, and send updates on the new risks detected if you continuously upload documentation. So this would be like once a week, you would add the new documentation from that week and ask ClickUp to continuously monitor, come up with risks. And there are a lot of benefits to this automation and use of AI in that if we do a comparison from before and after, it alleviates a lot of the pain points that project managers have in the risk management process. Before automation, you would have to weekly manually update the risks based on the new developments, whereas with AI, such as ClickUp, this continuously monitors that documentation and automatically produces these weekly updates, which makes it a lot less time consuming on the project manager's side, as now they don't have to necessarily come up with all these risks. They just have to go through the documentation and ensure that it's correct. Additionally, before, if you had like delayed the risk management and risk detection because of lack of time and resources, as project managers are typically spread very thin, that would be a problem. But with the use of AI, it continuously and automatically is producing these risk management documentation. And so you're on the earlier side of catching these risks before they actually develop into full-blown problems through the development process. Additionally, before using AI, you would have to come up with these risks, and the project manager would have to verbally notify the team, whether that's documentation, meeting, email. And that, again, is very time consuming. And so, with the use of AI, ClickUp actually will automatically update the team if there's changes to the documentation. It'll show you exactly what risks were changed, added, modified, so that the team is automatically updated and kept in the loop without the project manager having to go out of their way in doing that. And lastly, before you would have to manually detect dependencies and schedule risks through very deep and fine analysis of the documentation, whereas the use of AI, it can do this a lot quicker than humans can and project managers. So again, it is a lot of time being saved for the project managers so that they can focus on the risk management strategies rather than detecting the risks. So with the use of this AI, there are a lot of benefits, as we mentioned, but there are some limitations which is important to note for project managers. A lot of the benefits include faster risk identification and just generation of documentation for risk, saving a lot of time. Again, creating this documentation automatically and not having to go in and continuously ask for it is another plus of ClickUp. It will also give you real-time updates and monitoring of the risks and new documentation uploaded. And it gives you more informed decision making because it's really going through all this documentation that even if you had all the time in the world, project managers would not be able to get through with everything on their plate. With those benefits being said, there are some limitations that project managers need to understand and make sure that they are aware of. First, AI can misunderstand the context and make mistakes. So all the documentation provided from ClickUp should be read through thoroughly by the project managers to ensure its accuracy. Next, it can't replace human judgment. So a lot of decisions within the risk management process is kind of deciding, are you willing to take that risk and like say lower the quality so that you produce more? That those kind of decisions the AI cannot make. That's human judgment. That's based on the company culture and the project manager themselves. So AI, ClickUp AI and other AI platforms can be used to provide the information, but they should never be used to make a decision. That again is human judgment. And lastly, it needs neat and detailed project documentation. If the documentation you're providing is not clear and thorough, the AI is going to have a hard time determining the risks and documentation from that. As the saying goes, garbage in, garbage out. So when you're using the AI, you do need to make sure you're providing it with very strong documentation. That being said, that concludes this presentation on how AI, such as ClickUp, can be used to automate the risk management process for project managers. And again, AI is a very effective option. It helps save a lot of time on some of these very time-consuming tasks, but at the same time, it needs to be checked. It cannot just be trusted to make decisions. Thank you.